Hey T Squad, it's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 12 recap video. So, the episode begins with Whitney at her home with Justin, sitting outside on the porch. They have a gorgeous view, by the way. And she has a little glass of wine and she's just looking out and she's pensive. And he comes out and joins her with his drink and he asks her what's wrong. And they go into a whole conversation about how she resents him for basically ruining her business, Wild Rose Beauty. So her dream was to eventually get the brand, the skincare brand or whatever, into stores like Sephora, Ulta, Target, all of that stuff. And right when she had the opportunity to do so, when she met the owner of Sephora, apparently Justin and these other businessmen came to her with this MLM or whatever deal with a lot of money involved, and it would be direct shipping on their end or whatever. And she says that she did the deal even though in her spirit she didn't feel like it was a good deal and it was a smart deal. She said that she did it because they had presented her with this, like I said, this grandiose deal with all of this money, and that she trusted Justin, and that, you know, she was finally happy that after all of these years, Justin actually wanted to work with her on Wild Rose Beauty, because before she had been trying to get him to work with her and he really didn't see like any interest in it. And so when she finally did, it brought her back to the days when they first met and they worked so well together. So she said that was basically the reason why she did it. And it resulted in where we are now with her trying to get her name out of this new deal. She's trying to get out of the contract and get Wild Rose Beauty brand back solely to her. And, you know, he was just kind of sitting there looking like a big ass Bernstein bear, looking like the daddy. And he was like, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I messed up or whatever. And she just feels like he ruined everything for her, pretty much. That's pretty much where it stands at this point. She feels like he ruined everything, ruined her opportunity, ruined the business. And she had already saw that day that he had taken out a large sum out of their account to pay one of the vendors that they owed money to. And she was like, that hurt. He was like, well, I mean, we got to pay these people their money. But I guess it bothers her because we wouldn't even be in this position if I would have never done this deal. And she was like, I should have listened to my first mind, and I did not. And it's unfortunate. It really honestly is. She says that she's still resentful to this day. She's trying to work on it, but it's tough and it's hard. And this is why I just feel like couples should not do business with each other. I just feel that way. I don't want you tied to nothing I'm doing. I don't want me tied to nothing you doing. It's just too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes it can work perfectly, but majority of the time it's always some BS behind it. So, Heather is at her house with her daughters. One of them is already in college in Tampa. Her last daughter is about to graduate and go to school in Florida as well. No, this is she going to Tampa? The other daughter going to school somewhere in Florida. The last one, and they're decorating her room with her new alma mater, you know, gear and all of that type of stuff in the room. And basically, Heather just can't wait for her last daughter to fly the coop so she won't have to deal with the responsibility of another person. She says she's tired. She's been doing this for the last 18 years. Even when she was married, she still was raising these girls on her own. And she just wants the freedom of not having the responsibility of looking out for anybody else. And I was like, Heather, is this on? You know, just because they are off to college, that doesn't mean your responsibilities as a mom ends. You do know that, right? Like, This one is only 18, about to go, like, she's still a kid. You still have to parent her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still have to parent the other ones. Like, I understand. We as parents all get tired. We all want a moment to ourselves and all of this. But girl, you just acting like they 18 now. Fuck them kids. I'm doing me. Woohoo! Like, it's just like, that ain't how it works. It really honestly isn't. That's not really how it goes, ma'am. Okay? I don't know what world she's living in. Like, I don't know. It's kind of giving, it's not so much irresponsible, but like, I don't know, delusion. I don't know what she on, but I don't like it. Do y'all get the same feeling as me, like with Heather and her situation with her kids? It's weird. Muzzy and Bronwyn sitting down talking, and they actually have a very nice moment with each other. Muzzy actually tells Bronwyn that she's doing a great job raising Gwen and that she's proud of her. And she goes on to say that when she was growing up, her parents didn't really dole out compliments. And that's probably why she is the way that she was with Bronwyn growing up. She was like, she's trying to make an effort now because she sees how Bronwyn is with her daughter. And it was a really beautiful moment because y'all know I was not feeling Muzzy them first couple episodes. But the more we're seeing her and Bronwyn together, they laughing, they having a good time. She's experimenting, going to schmeck shops and all of this type of stuff. So it seems like she's gaining some form of knowledge. I don't think that she's 100% turned around, but that was a beautiful moment for Bronwyn. But I just need for Bronwyn to work on feeling like she needs everybody's approval. Like, girl, go to therapy for that because you too goddamn old to be thirsting for other people's approval. Like, girl, bye. So, Bronwyn is now a U.S. citizen. And she decides to have a Boston Spill the Tea party for her citizenship. I thought that was a cute name. So she tells all the girls to dress up in colonial times or whatever and to get dropped off at this like dock. So all the girls are dressed up except for Lisa and Meredith, of course, because they think that they too good to do the theme. Bronwyn, however, has gone all out. It's like a studio lot almost where she has this event. She got a full stage that looks like the Boston Tea Party and all it, like it's so that time. It looked like Plymouth Rock, okay? The girls were fully enthralled and shocked and impressed. She had food, she had drinks. It was a vibe. So Mary ends up arriving a little late. Once she gets there, all the girls are sitting down, and Bronwyn asks them all to write down who they've spilled tea about in this group. Because earlier in the episode, she had a conversation with Todd where she was like, I think that we can't move forward because the girls are still feeling like, well, somebody didn't say this about me, or I wonder, did this person say something about me, or is something coming around the pipeline? So she was like, I feel like we all just need to say who we said stuff about so we can finally move forward. So the girls kind of look like, oh Lord, here we go, because y'all know we did this at the season finale episode last season, and that didn't work out too well, and it didn't work out too well again. So Bronwyn admits that she talked to other people about Lisa apparently lying about buying a horse. So while they were on their vacation or whatever, Lisa had told the girls that she had recently bought a horse. They were all shocked and like, what you doing with a horse? Where is it at? We ain't seen you post no pictures. Like, really, girl? Bronwyn was like, I think that you're lying. I just honestly do. What was that, Angie? Was that Bronwyn or Angie? I can't remember. It was one of them hoes. But Lisa was like, actually, I do have a horse. I'm actually thinking about buying another one, and I don't have to prove anything to anybody. It's mighty funny that she bought a horse the same season that Angie's daughter is, going and doing, horse shows and competitions and all of this stuff. You know, it just seems like she was trying to compete with Angie. I don't believe in either, to be honest with you. So Heather says that she gossiped about Todd cheating and farting. Bronwyn was like, okay, throw the box in the water. It's over. We're not talking about that anymore. And Heather was like, I'm sorry. You know, I thought it would be funny at this point. Obviously, it's not. And she apologizes to Bronwyn. That shit was funny. So yeah, it was Angie that said that she didn't think that Lisa had the horse. Because Bronwyn apologizes to Whitney for spilling tea that she shouldn't have spilled to Meredith. And Whitney was like, I thought I was confiding in you in a private conversation. And Bronwyn was like, if you were uncomfortable with her knowing about it, then you probably shouldn't have said it. It's really between the two of you, not me. And you got to give it to Bronwyn. Like, how can you sit up here and say that you thought it was a private conversation when we had a camera in our face? And don't say nothing that you don't want the next person to know if you're going to be scared to admit it. Like, even though Bronwyn was talking out of turn, she still had a point. So Whitney was like, you think I'm going to call a belligerent woman 2 days after we land? Baby, that was all she had to say to get Meredith riled up. Meredith was like, everything I said was the truth. You know, she get the nod in that head. Well, Whitney, everything that I said was the truth, and I don't know what you're talking about. She get to doing all of that. So Whitney was like, you didn't taunt her on that plane for 6 hours. And Mary was like, no, I didn't. And everybody looking at her like, here we go again, bitch. Like, you just sit down and apologize to this girl, and now you're back saying that you didn't do anything, and we're all telling you you did. So Mary really is feeling like, are you okay? Are you on something where you do not remember what happened? Like, she's really concerned because she sees what's going on with her own child and his addiction and everything. And that's kind of like the same place that Whitney is coming from. Like, girl, are you on something? Like, how can you sit up here and say that you did not do anything? And we're all telling you that you did. So, Whitney was like, you had other witnesses there, Meredith, so you can't just call me a liar. Meredith was like, you are a liar. And Whitney was like, if you're going to call me a liar, then let's do it. Alcoholic, pill popper. Baby, when she said that, my mouth dropped, y'all. I was like, oh, Whitney. And Meredith was like, I'm glad you said that. Actually, I have a gift for everybody. Just a second. Just a second. So she go walking and get in the gift bag. And then she come back and give everybody little separate gift bags. And they open it up. And on the inside, it's drug tests. She want everybody to take a test. Because she like, if y'all want to say this about me, I think we all need to take a test. So they all looking like, what we got to do with it? What? You know what needs to be taking the test. Nobody took the test, by the way. Not even Meredith. Like, so we still to this day don't know if she got a problem. So, Whitney says that she's, witnessed a pattern with Meredith that she's seen before, meaning, with her father's addiction. And she was like, I'm just worried about you. And Lisa was like, it's not fair to do this to her. Basically saying that she feels like Whitney is projecting her own issues with her father onto Meredith. Meredith then denies yelling at Whitney on the plane. And Mary in her confession was like, I heard her. I saw her yelling at Whitney. Other people have said this. She was like, it's almost like she wasn't there. Like, what is going on? I don't know. Maybe she did, like, you know how people go on planes and they pop a pill so they can go to sleep or something. Maybe that's one of the things that happened. Maybe she like popped a pill or two and was drinking too. And that like had her on one where she like literally had a smug induced moment that she does not remember, because you're not supposed to be drinking and popping at the same time. That's the only thing that I could think of. Because other than that, bitch, you just blacked out. Like, I'm so confused. So then Meredith accuses Heather and Whitney of lying on her about the whole plane incident. And I'm like, well, how you just gonna say them two are lying about the situation? Why you ain't calling Mary, Angie, and Brittany liars then? It doesn't make sense, Meredith. And even your own friend said that, yeah, you was on one. Like, what is happening? So, Heather was like, you called me a liar. And Meredith was like, no, I didn't. And she was like, oh my God, you just literally sat here and called me a liar. Now you saying that you didn't. Like, you literally trying to gaslight me to act like I'm crazy. Like, we all just heard you call me a liar. And Meredith's like, no, what, you weren't listening what I was trying to say, Heather. So, at this point, Heather basically says to Meredith, like, I just need for you to admit at this point that you messed up. But Meredith is refusing to do so. She's simply refusing it verbatim. Like, she's just unwilling. And I'm just like, girl, you just cannot say you wrong. You that uptight and gotta be right? Or just can't admit that you fucked up for once? Like, that's a horrible flaw. So all the ladies then decide to make a friendship amendment of things that they feel like they need to not do moving forward. So one person said, family is off limits and they got to be women of their word and all of this stuff. And we all know that shit ain't gonna last. We already know. Now, one thing that I'm still holding on to is that based off the last 2 seasons of Salt Lake City, I still feel like we're going to get footage or audio from that plane ride, because they love a shocking ending with a twist. And I still find it hard to believe that nobody on that plane videoed any of it or recorded any of it. It just not adding up. I really feel like they are saving that for the season finale episode to put Meredith's ass on blast. I will be shocked if this season ends and we have no footage, no audio, no nothing of said freak out. We all know that the Salt Lake City girls can keep a secret. They kept the Von Teese of it all a secret. It was one of the most explosive, if not the biggest season finale episode in Housewife history. And they kept that on lock. Nobody spilled the tea on that. There was no leaks or nothing. So this group of girls knows how to keep things in-house and let it play out on television. So I am not going to be surprised if footage comes out on that season finale episode showing exactly what happened on that plane. Somebody on that plane recorded something and gave it to the production, or production was, because they said that some people from production was in first class with them. So somebody got receipts. It doesn't make sense. Everybody else be recording moments when the cameras are down. So why wouldn't nobody pull out their camera or get the recording, the audio then? It doesn't add up. I'm putting it out there. I think that the audio or video footage is going to come out, and it's going to be an explosive season finale that's going to make Meredith look like a goddamn liar and a hypocrite, okay? And a fraud. Y'all heard it here first. This week was a good episode. It wasn't the strongest of the season. This is the first episode of this season. I'm going to give a B. I'm not going to give it an A. I thought it was still very entertaining, very funny, very theatrical. I love the theme of Bronwyn's party, how she went all out for it. Loved every bit of that. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this week's episode. Please make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so y'all know my videos drop. T Squad, I love you guys, and I will see you all on my next one. Bye.